Michael Hogan was back to his best with 4 wickets as Glamorgan kept Essex in check on the opening day of the LV County Championship match in Chelmsford before the visitors lost some late wickets themselves. James Foster batted after winning the toss and Jake Mickleborough made a positive start, dominating an opening stand of 40 which came in the first hour with Nick Brown, who came into this match on the back of 2 impressive innings in the rain-affected draw with Lancashire last week. Brown had made only 12 this time when he was beaten for pace by Craig Macheda and trapped in front in the day's 17th over. That opening partnership summed up the day really, Essex never being able to get on top of their in-form opponents. Back from injury, Tom Wesley opened up his account with this boundary, while Mickleborough continued to impress with shots such as this one. A single off Graham Wagg brought up the opener's half-century off 77 balls. He'd struck 9 fours in that and had made his 50 out of a total of 72. Such was his dominance at this stage of proceedings. However, he didn't add another run to his tally. Wagg delivered an excellent delivery in his next over, which the batsman, in spite of trying to leave alone, nicked behind. The next over began with a dismissal of Wesley for 4, Hogan doing what he's done so many times in his career, dragging a ball back to clip the stumps of the batsman, who became the latest man to fall to the Australian while shouldering arms. Those 2 wickets came just before the lunch break, which arrived with Essex on 73 for 3 and having to start again through Jesse Ryder and Ravi Bopara after the interval. The former took advantage of anything short and wide from Wagg, but after getting to 24, he edged the 4th ball of the day from Andrew Salter behind to go with a score on 111 for 4. It appeared to be a pitch when no batsman ever felt totally at ease, which meant that full toll had to be taken of anything on offer. Bopara smashed Salter down the ground for a 6, and Ryan Tenduscarter repeated the dose in the spinner's next over, Salter becoming a little expensive suddenly. Wagg was then brought back on, only for Bopara to pull him with power to the boundary. But next ball, Wagg produced an excellent Yorker, which foxed the former England man to send him packing for 30 at 159 for 5. That brought in Liam Dawson, who made a nervy start but survived until some rain took the players off for an early tea. Tenduscarter was in a feisty mood after the restart and wanted to make sure that Salter didn't settle into any kind of rhythm with some powerful hits such as these. But again, just when a partnership was building, it came crashing to an end. Hogan was back on and winning an LBW to get rid of the dangerous Tenduscarter, just 2 runs shy of his half-century. And then Dawson, who never settled, went in an almost identical fashion in the big Aussies' next over, a wicket which left Essex in some trouble on 192 for 7. The fact that they eventually got as far as 279 was largely down to Graham Napier, who decided to come out and bat in one-day mode. He wasted no time in playing some shots in partnership with Foster, the belief possibly being that it was time to make hay before a ball with a batsman's name on it arrived. On this form, Napier is a terrifying prospect for a bowler. David Lloyd was introduced to replace Hogan, and his second ball was hammered for a 6. 38 runs were added in just 6 overs, and then Foster on 16 went after Macheda but edged his drive straight into Colin Ingram's breadbasket. David Masters then played a shotter ball before Ingram was given the ball and hit into the distance by Napier, who raced to 43 off only 26 deliveries. But his next one was his last. This time he didn't time his shot, slicing it instead to Hogan at long off to depart with a total on 264 for 9. Masters made a breezy and valuable 28 off 20 deliveries and also cleared the rope off Ingram. But then Hogan stuck out a hand to hold on to a fierce drive from Masters, the bowler ending with figures of 4 for 36 from 19.5 overs as Essex were dismissed for 279. Glamorgan will have been pleased with their work, and they now needed to see out 15 overs of this day to ensure that it belonged to them. Jacques Rudolph made a start, but lost Will Bragg in the 7th over for 3 as he edged Ryder's 3rd delivery behind. The decision by Foster to bring on the New Zealander early turned out to be a very smart one. That's because in his 4th over he trapped Anirin Donald in front, the 18-year-old playing in only his 2nd first-class game, and he was on his way for 14. Glamorgan sent out Salter as night watchman, but with what turned out to be the last ball of the day, he was also legged before to Ryder, who had figures of 3 for 18 from 4 overs and 5 balls. He will look for more wickets on day 2, which will begin with Glamorgan on 40 for 3, 239 runs behind, and with plenty of work to do to restore parity from here. They will be happy that their captain Rudolph is still at the crease on 17.